Hello and welcome back to the third instalment of the 900 Talladega project. Coming up on episode 3, I get the persuader out to remove the handbrake cables. We make what resembles a pint of Guinness from the contents of the carpet. And I show just how important a breakfast of 8 Weetabix is when undoing this shock absorber insert nut. Last time we finished up with Jamie fitting up the rear discs and pads to the car. Since then we have fitted up new brake lines courtesy of Oreo and new Hell brake lines courtesy of Saab. So the next job on the work list is the handbrake cables. First up, off with the heat shields. Then, just for reference, we measure the handbrake cable's current adjustment. Now, off with the L cables, let's start the music. With the old cables off, once again, one job leads to another, and we will be doing the fuel tank straps at the same time as the cables. And on with the fitting. The handbrake cable return springs require replacement, which is helped by using this Saab special tool. This rather simple design hooks the brake springs in perfectly, as I'm about to demonstrate. Offside done. And near side done. Let's get back to it. So with the cable fitted, it now needs setting up. The handbrake lever is applied 2 clicks on, and the cable adjusted by the 13mm nut under the car. Here you can see the spring stretching as the cable is tightened. When the wheel can't be turned anymore, the correct adjustment has been achieved. Now release the handbrake and check if the wheel turns freely. If it does, it's time to put the kettle on. Now, just as a comparison, the old cables measured at 30mm. With the new cables fitted, we now have a measurement of 25mm. The handbrake system has been operated and checked a few times just to make sure that everything is centred and bedded in. That means we can now grease the cables and put the heat shield back on. The broken M6 external studs that hold these heat shields in place were repaired by drilling them out and putting a bolt through from the inside of the floor pan of the car. The head of the bolt was then tack welded in place, giving us a new thread to be able to secure the heat shield to. You may remember the loose heat shield from the first video. This has been resecured with M6 repair washers, as a new one was no longer available. That's quite a few jobs completed in one go there. Let's move on to the next one. The exhaust. The original plan was to just fit a new back box to the car, but after a closer inspection to the front flexi and centre box, we felt it best practice to renew the system with genuine items, as these are cost-effective, high-quality parts. With the help of my dad Bob, who a lot of you know, let's get it fitted. And a nice shiny genuine exhaust system fitted. For those of you that are curious to know what we use to joint the exhaust, we use high temperature silicone. This enables the exhaust to come apart easily in the future should it need to. Next up, we decided to make a start on some of the areas of rot in the chassis. Fortunately, the areas to be repaired are all on the offside of the floor pan. Unfortunately, the fuel pipes run down this side of the car, so they need to be moved over before we can do anything. Now let's see what happens when Dave gives this area in the rear arch a little bit of a tap. As suspected, there's a bit of gout here. The essential part of welding repairs is finding clean metal, so Dave is going to try and do that now. Now that the various areas are cut out and cleaned up, we have been left with some sweeping up. Dave can finally get some tools out, nice scissors by the way Dave, and make some repair panels. Cardboard is used to make templates that then can be transferred onto steel plate, cut, shaped and then finally welded, as you're about to see. And that's the end result. We will bring you a little bit more on what we do to protect the outer areas of this welding in later episodes. With the welding done, we can now move on to fitting the seats back in. I think you will agree that Neil from Will Clean Cleaning Services did a great job on them. Before we fit them back in, it's a perfect time to wet vac the carpets. What came out was nice. Let's crack on with the fitting. Perfect. What a difference. Moving on from the front seats, the Talladega is back on the ramp and the front suspension has been removed. We didn't plan on tackling this job yet, but found a pair of new strut inserts in the parts department and thought this would be the best time to get the job done. Here you can see the front shock towers in all their glory. Overall, they're in sound structural condition, but are pretty rough looking. The top area where the shock absorber nut goes in is a common rust trap and can be seen here. We have seen these rust away completely and break out. Thankfully, we have a donor 900 which we have removed a good pair of towers from. Having this tool helps undo the shock absorber nut, as these can be notoriously tight. Just look at how much the vice moves as I undo it. The area where the shock absorber nut goes in these towers from our donor car are in really good condition, as you can see here. With the towers stripped, cleaned, primed and repainted with stone chip, they look the business, and even more so with a pair of new genuine brake back plates. Now they can be reassembled. So there we have it. 1 done. And 2 done. As easy as that. So that's it for this episode. Hopefully we haven't bored you to death. See you next time. Cheers then. Next time on the 900 Talladega project, we give this wishbone some serious in and out action. The front end is given some strength, and I put my straw in a hole and fill the cavity with wax.